New sanctions against Russia, new NATO membership for Finland and Sweden. Those are two key issues for European Union foreign ministers as they meet today in Brussels. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly is at that meeting too and is saying today the federal government wants to fast-track Canadian approval for Finland and Sweden to join NATO.
Our goal is to be amongst the first countries to be able to ratify the accession of Sweden and Finland.
Joly says Canadian approval could come within days. She has been in touch already with the Conservatives, the New Democrats and the Bloc Québécois as far as fast-tracking the approval. You see her in these images alongside the EU's top diplomat, Josep Borrell. They had talks this morning. Rosie Burchard is in Brussels, and she tells us Joly is also offering Canada's diplomatic help with a potential roadblock to Finland's and Sweden's membership.
It's a very big day here in Brussels. Mélanie Joly, Foreign Affairs Minister, is in talks as we speak, not far from where I'm standing. And it's, of course, a big day because we've heard from Sweden as well as Finland that both those countries would like to join NATO, reversing decades, if not centuries, of military non-alignment. So this is something we thought, Heather, that was going to be very plain sailing. All the 13 existing NATO allies, despite the fact that they need to give their formal green light, no opposition was expected. However, we have heard from Turkey that it may put a block in the way for those two countries because it has a bilateral dispute or disagreement with Sweden over Kurdish militants that it sees as terrorists. Now, Mélanie Joly says that this is a moment to be seized. It is historic and it's more important than any bilateral issues, and that's why she says she'll be speaking with her Turkish counterparts. Let's take a listen to what she said this morning as she arrived to talks.
We have been very much involved in supporting Ukrainians' negotiations and to make sure that there's a strong security mechanism. At this point, we want to continue to offer this strategic technical advice to the Ukrainian negotiators. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is through economic sanctions, through sending heavy artillery, we're strengthening Ukrainians at the negotiation table.
Now, there, Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly spoke about Ukraine. Now, Ukraine has long made its aspirations towards joining the NATO Defensive Alliance clear. However, NATO says it has an open door policy, but that door was never quite as open to Ukraine as it seems to be to Finland and Sweden. Now, that's for all sorts of reasons, for eligibility reasons, also geopolitical difficulties there. And it does look like Ukraine will have to look for its security guarantees elsewhere. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba will be at talks today as this meeting continues, and this will likely be high on the agenda. But of course, that NATO membership for Ukraine is something very much a long-term concern. What the Foreign Minister Kuleba will likely be addressing is the acute needs as the conflict drags on.
So, Rosie, looking at pictures of Minister Joly and Minister Kuleba, and they will be pushing as well for their European Union counterparts to do more on sanctions. So on that file, what do we watch for today?
Heather, there is a big issue of credibility at stake for the European Union today. That is because for almost 2 weeks, the 27 EU nations have been trying to debate on and agree on the details of a new package of sanctions against Moscow. Now, this is the most controversial package of sanctions yet because it includes a ban on importing Russian oil, so an embargo on Russian oil. Now, in order to advance with sanctions, unanimous agreement among all 27 nations is needed, and so far, Heather, that has not been reached, mainly because Hungary, which is a country which is dependent on Russia for its energy supplies, it's landlocked, it doesn't yet have infrastructure in place to be able to diversify quickly. It's been blocking that consensus. Now, Canada and Ukraine will likely be trying to push for this consensus among EU members, but on different fronts. For example, Canadian Minister Joly might be talking about what Canada can offer to support the EU's future energy independence in terms of diversity diversifying suppliers, Ukrainian Foreign Minister will of course be saying that while nations, he believes, continue to buy Russian oil, they are essentially helping the Kremlin to bankroll its war in Ukraine. So some different arguments there, but the goal the same, which is to be able to advance with tougher and more sanctions on Moscow, something that has so far proven elusive for these 27 EU members.
That is Rosie Burchard from Brussels this morning.